Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about the Jamstack. So let's get into it. So basically, well, it doesn't really have to be the Jamstack, or like it can be anything. It's the question in question here basically is, Frederick, what's your takeaways from working with an all JavaScript application stack? That's pretty much it. And the thing is that there's so much, but I kind of have to keep it a bit narrow here. So this might be a repeat of something that I've said in the past, but hey, I love repetition. Must be my OCD thing, right? Just same pattern over and over. It makes my brain happy. But the main thing for me when it comes to working as a JavaScript developer, and it doesn't matter if it's in Node or if it's in front end or whatever. So there is, like, we have all of these tools and we have so much community love, so much community work in everything that has to do with JavaScript. I mean, there is hatred, of course, and resentment and so forth, but there's no one who can contradict the fact that JavaScript is the world's biggest and most popular programming language. You have the most amount of packages, you have all of these things going for you. And slowly but surely some of the resentment is falling away, because I mean it's easy to hate on something and feel confident in that hatred if the thing isn't getting off the ground, right? But when you're basically like spitting on something that is so massive, so large, that anything that you have to compare with is like a dwarf, that's nothing in comparison, it starts to get almost a little bit pathetic. Everybody it's kind of funny because it used to be the case that everybody hated on it because it was really shitty, and now it's like everybody is hating on the big guy or the big thing, right? Because it's too mainstream. Well, imagine if that ever happens. Well, JavaScript kind of is mainstream in a way. Anywho, the thing is though, when it comes to working with JavaScript, the only thing that I truly believe that still has some merit, and this is the thing that I've sort of learned myself the hard way, that is that there is a great and deep immaturity in JavaScript. And I honestly, I think it's kind of down to the culture. It's down to the community. There is a benefit that's absolutely there with having all of this innovation going on, or some people will not call it innovation, they will call it motion versus progress, etc., etc. But there is a lot of motion. And a lot of people from varying skill levels, like some people are completely self-taught, complete beginners, and some people are more advanced and like been doing this for a little bit longer. There's different perspectives on the same thing. Everybody's contributing somehow, everybody's using things. It's a very fast-moving ecosystem, right? But what's sorely lacking is a sense of focus or a sense of direction or anything like that, any type of maturity. The sort of things that you find in, say, Java, C#, as an example. These languages were developed in a time, or became popularized at the very least, in a time where this idea of open source and like this idea of having this big developer community, this big explosion of programming and developers and IT and so forth, it wasn't really at that point. It was still in the days where this was a corporate job. You went to university, you studied hard, and then you got a fairly semi-well-paid corporate position where things were still, like, the focus was corporate gain. Corporate gain in some fashion. That was the thing. That was the focus, right? Today it's much more looser than that. Today it's the entropy has exploded to the point where you have all these different languages and different perspectives, and being a developer today is almost a lifestyle. It's almost at that point, at least if you're online. Out on the regular normal muggles or people out there in the world, they don't care at all. All your street cred goes away unless your entire social circle is made up of young entrepreneurs. Then you're the hottest thing in town, I swear. For making friends, that's even more popular than having a cute dog. But there is an entropy, and that entropy is the killer. It's the thing that makes these projects fail, and that's the thing that I think I myself have taken away from this. It's gotten to the point where I really believe that there is no logical reason, there's no reasonable reason as to why you can't just use something like TypeScript and Node and JavaScript and so forth to do like the full JavaScript stack to build really, really big application. And I really believe that it would be the best thing for IT at large if we could start focusing on this platform, like JavaScript as the platform, and have that as the de facto standard over something like Java for enterprise development. But the problem is that we can't get there right now because we have the tools. The language has advanced to the point where this is absolutely possible. It's not only possible, it's a very nice experience if you ask me. But we don't have the developer maturity. We just don't, because we have all these people, especially in front end, who just are so gosh darn irresponsible with the decisions that they make on behalf of the company, so that the code bases they rot so quickly. And I don't know if that's experience or it's because as I said, I think it's just a culture thing, and I don't know how to really solve this culture thing apart from pushing for good practices in JavaScript, just as you're pushing for them in other more conservative languages or more mature languages. So that's the biggest takeaway, at least for me, when it comes to working with the Jamstack or with the full JavaScript tech stack. You can do everything you want, and you can do it just as well, if not even I will even go as far as to say better in some cases than some of the like the more traditional languages that I've been working in as well. But that's not the problem that you're facing. The problem you're facing is all the damn developers around you. It's the complete, like it's almost like a curse. It's always doomed to fail, only because at some point some person's going to come in and say, hey, you know what, I read this awesome blog article about this tiny little library that I really want to use, and they were talking about we should do this pattern here, and for some reason nobody stops them. It's like you have a free pass on adding anything into a JavaScript stack or to do any type of architecture. Like, there's no leadership, there's no focus, there's no direction. Holy shit. I mean, I honestly believe that maybe the best thing for us is for anybody who's doing like serious JavaScript development at their company is just to hire like a really, really old conservative programmer who fucking hates everything and just says, no, that's it. They just go, no, I don't care about that. I don't care about this. We do this, we do that. They give a direction. They give some type of focus towards the group of JavaScript developers so that we don't get into this legacy situation where we just have hacked things on top of hacked things. So what I want you to take away from this is that, at least for me, when it comes to working with the Jamstack, I think it's an absolute treat. You have so many tools. You have, like, it's a candy shop. JavaScript is a candy shop for the people who are indoctrinated and the people who know how to actually do things and how to find things and how to, like, when you actually know it, it's absolutely amazing. And you can do pretty much anything you want with it. The problem is that most of your, like, quite a lot of projects fall to shit unless you know exactly what you're doing, and it comes down to community. In my world, that's the biggest hurdle to get over at this point. The Jamstack works very nicely in the hands of people who really know what they're doing, and if they work alone on that project and never take any weird risks with the project, everything's going to be fine. It's going to work perfectly. But most companies have this kind of Wild West attitude towards their dependencies and the Wild West attitude towards the entire project, and I don't know how to fix that. Apart from, as I said, hire some really old dude who's been working for years and he just hates everything, and just basically have him act as him or her can be a bitter old hag as well. Somebody who just takes a direction and says, this is what we're going to do. I know this better than you. I don't care about your libraries. I don't care about this library. I don't care what's on Stack Overflow. I don't care what's the latest thing in the newsletters. I don't care. We don't need it. We're going to do this. And then create a focus point, because we need focus. There needs to be consistency. These ad hoc decisions are the sorts of things that actually lead to the complete rot and decay of all of these front-end projects and node projects and so forth. We need consistency. We need a maturity in our work process when we do JavaScript. That's the only thing that's holding us back at this point. Have a great day.